Alright, we're now moving into what I actually enjoy, contract formation. Alright, obviously contracts are a big part of our life. Believe it or not, we enter into contracts every single day. You go to McDonald's, you get a quarter pounder with cheese. Contract. You go to Best Buy, get a TV, pay for it. Contract. You buy a house. Contract. Buy a car. Contract. Believe it or not, the law encourages us to enter into contracts. Why? It's good for the economy. And these days we need that. Alright? Contract law deals with, among other things, the formation and enforcement of agreements between parties. Alright, so we enter into agreements. Contracts. Alright? What is a contract? Oh, that's the eternal question. It's a piece of paper with a bunch of words on it. Not necessarily. A contract is a promise or a set of promises for the breach of which the law gives a remedy, or the performance of which the law in some way recognizes a duty. Or it's a legally binding agreement between two or more parties who agree to perform or to refrain from performing some act now or in the future. Alright, we got He-Man and Peter Beckman. Okay? He-Man says, "Oh my gosh, there's a ghost at my house." Peter Beckman says, "I offer to come and do it. How much?" $50. Okay, contract. Okay? That's all it is. Now, the objective theory of contracts, reasonable person standard. The element of intent is of prime importance. Obviously, if the parties intend to enter into a contract, they probably will. Right? If it looks like a contract, smells like a contract, acts like a contract, guess what? It's a fish. No, it's a contract. Okay? Objective facts include, what are we looking at here? What the parties said when they entered into the contract. "Oh my gosh, there's a ghost at my house. I offer to fix it for $500. Okay. Contract. Alright? What was said? "I need this. I'll do it for this." Okay. How the parties acted. Their toys. Okay? And the circumstances surrounding the transaction. Was there really a ghost at He-Man's house? Right? Did Peter Beckman actually remove the ghost? Right? What happened? Alright? Generally, a contract has a few elements. Now, the book points out 4 distinct elements. I always said there's 5. I like to say there's offer, acceptance, consideration, legal purpose, and capacity. The book uses the term agreement as offer and acceptance. And certainly on an exam, that's what you want to answer, is agreement. But I like to break down offer and acceptance into 2 specific elements. And certainly we're going to look at those elements throughout this chapter, this week and next. Alright, defenses to the formation or the enforcement of a contract. Genuineness of assent, voluntary consent. Okay, intent must be genuine, voluntary. Folks, how many times have you been out on the golf course and you say something along the lines of, "Oh, I'll give you $500 if I sink this putt." Are you serious? Is it legal? Okay, but that's one of the questions you got to ask yourself. Was this a real offer? You've heard the story about the sweet little gray-haired lady who gets a divorce and sells her husband's prized muscle car for $1. All right, was she serious? Well, yeah, she was serious, but was it actually for sale? Okay, so you got to look at all the surrounding circumstances. Form. Certain contracts have to be in writing. Okay, certain contracts have to have certain elements. If they're not there, guess what? No contract. Let's look at types of contracts. Yeah, bilateral versus unilateral. Alright, here it is in a nutshell. Bilateral is a promise for a promise. I promise to sell you my BlackBerry if you promise to give me $100. Okay, bilateral contract. Unilateral. I promise to give you $50 if you go climb the flagpole. Ooh, what's that? It's a promise for an action. Now, the only way to accept a unilateral contract is to actually go and do the deed. So while you're sitting there staring at me, listening and talk to you about unilateral contracts, the clock is ticking, y'all. All right, the clock is ticking. The only way you're going to get that $50 is if you get off your butt, go outside and climb the flagpole. Right now, this sounds like pretty good deal, but there's problems with it. Once performance has begun, the offer may not be revoked once performance has begun. All right, now check this out. So you get off your butt, you go outside, you start climbing the flagpole, and just as you're about to reach the top and touch it, I yell, "I revoke." You're pissed. All right, can I do that? No. Once you've actually started to perform the contract in a unilateral form, I cannot revoke. Now, once a reasonable amount of time has passed, certainly the offer is no longer any good. But that's the biggest difference you have to notice between bilateral and unilateral. Bilateral, promise for a promise. Unilateral, promise for an action. Okay?